Hey there, Redeemer. Today's Tuesday, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Let's look at Psalm 16 together. Preserve me, O God, for in you I take refuge. I say to the Lord, you are my Lord. I have no good apart from you. So this is a prayer of utter helplessness that we are crying out to God and trusting ourselves to his care. As for the saints in the land, they are the excellent ones in whom is all my delight. The saints are the holy ones of God, literally the covenant people of God who are saved by grace through faith alone in Jesus Christ, and we delight in them and we prefer them. And when we're not together like we are right now, we're going to pray for one another and look for creative ways to serve each other and have fellowship together. The sorrows of those who run after another god shall multiply. Their drink offerings of blood I won't pour out or take their names on my lips. The Lord is my chosen portion and my cup. You hold my lot. The lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Indeed, I have a beautiful inheritance. Don't be an unholy one. Don't be someone looking after idols, anything taking the place of God in your heart. A crisis, by its very definition, is a time where our hearts are being tested, a time to make critical choices of what you're going to do. And here we're resolving not to devote our hearts, minds, and energy to self-indulgence, to anything competing for our affections. Instead, we are banking on a good and generous Father who does not have earthly pleasures stored up for us necessarily, but an eternal inheritance. Bless the Lord who gives me counsel. In the night also my heart instructs me. I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand, I shall not be shaken. Therefore my heart is glad, and my whole being rejoices. My flesh also dwells secure. Literally is, in the night my kidneys instruct me, because in the Hebrew mind, the kidneys were where the stirrings, your deep inner stirrings in your flesh and your mind are, your emotions, your secret thoughts for good and for bad. We're seeing that God's word and God's presence can actually transform your nature so much that your natural instincts, even the butterflies in the stomach kind of responses you have, can calibrate to God's desires and impulses. This is why we're unshakable. Verse 8, regardless of our circumstances, because we have the Lord before us and on our right hand. And that sounds a lot like a prayer by St. Patrick, which I will share with you on the heels of this video. Notice in verse 9, even our flesh, our physical bodies are under God's sovereign control, because when we die, not if we die, he will not abandon his people to the grave or let us experience eternal death. No, he leads us down the path to life that brings us into the very presence where everlasting pleasures await us. Jesus himself is that path. No one comes to the Father but through him, John 14:6. And you know, God didn't abandon his soul to the grave. He raised him up on the third day as a preview to the last day, the resurrection of all our bodies. What a glorious picture. Pray through Psalm 16, church, and do not be shaken. We'll talk to you soon.